complete intersection of solids elements method from this set of worksheets, I'm going to go ahead now and just do this very last one here. So we're dealing with here a triangular prism intersects a cone as shown the in view and partial elevation. So there's the in view, there's the partial elevation. Are given, construct a plan and complete the projections of the solids. Use the radial element method to locate all three lines of intersection. On the given pictorial, illustrate how radial elements can be used to locate intersection points along the curve. So they're saying construct a plan and complete the projections of solid. Use the radial element method to locate all lines of intersection. I should say. I said 3 because there is one. Well, there's actually 6. Mirror image. There's one going down the front, which lines up with this face. There's one along the base, which lines up with this face, and one along the back, in line with this face. I wonder, is it an even measurement? It's pretty much like 80 there. No, I'm going to just say it's 80. Probably should be. I probably should be bisecting that using the compass, but anyway, it's close to 80, so I'm going to go with it. Let's hope it's the same over here. Yep, it looks quite good. Maybe if I was thinking, I could just use the vertex or the apex. Bring it down, which should be in the center. Same over here. I'm going to project down the plan, and everything goes on to the YY line, which is at the end of the elevation, of course. So that's going to be the center of that triangular prism, and a point on the radius. Next up, I will label. I'll just call that point A, B and C, or edges A, B and C, I suppose. A being here, C down low, and B up top. Project through the views. And down from the end elevation. A, B and C. A is at the front of the object, so it's out here along the front. It's going to be visible, it's going to be solid detail in as far as a certain point. Don't know where yet. I'm going to start it off heavy and just go light and finish off heavy there. B is up at the top of the object. Again, it's going to be all visible, all heavy as far as the point where it hits the object. So I start off heavy, go light and finish up heavy. I like to do something like this because it just shows me the on plan. It shows the prominence of the points, the fact that they will actually be visible, and I can differentiate between what will and will not be hidden. In this case here, all 3 will be visible and solid. That much gets me started anyway. Now, time to find a couple of points. Time to get started here. I'm going to work from the apex. I'm just going to call the apex, call point 0. From the apex there at 0, 0 or 0 here, I'm going to take some straight line elements down through those key points, A, B and C, and down onto the base. Through A, onto the base, through B, onto the base, and then through C finally. Now this part here is going to be a bit of a nightmare. because it's so hard, it's so close. The projection of the elements through B and C are so close along their projection points up here, but still they end up diverging a bit as we go along, so it mightn't be too bad. But anyway, that's the end of the element at A, end of the element at C, and the end of the element at B. They all lie on the base or on the ground. Just project them across for now and use them after. Each element here actually represents two straight line elements, because let's just take the one there that goes from the apex down through A and onto the ground. That is this one, down through A onto the ground. But that also happens to line up perfectly with the one at the back, down through A and onto the ground. As we are projecting an end elevation, both elements are lining up, or they appear to be lining up. That is down through the edge A, there, and A there. And then B is here up top and C is here. So we're dealing with a pair of elements each time. So for A, I have that pair of elements. As you can see, you have your apex, you have your 2 points on the ground, and that defines the element. B is this one here at the back of the object. Once again representing a pair of elements. There. Where's C? C is the near one inside here. Now, if you feel like you could do a better job if you change colour every time, then go for it. There's going to be a lot of switching colours if you do. But if it works for you, why not? A gets cut along the element here at the front. That's A. So the pierce point for edge A is here, and the pierce point for edge A coming back out is here. And I just, you know what, I'll drop them in even with the pen here, to the fine liner, to make them heavy. So edge A pierces along there. Edge B is here, and edge C is right there. Edge B up top pierces along this back set of elements here. B is up top. Don't make the mistake like I was just about to. So B is along the back elements, which is these guys here, in as far as B. It's going to be the same left and right, it's symmetrical. We won't take anything for granted, we'll follow the process all the way around. Edge C is in the inside, so it's these wider two elements, and that means edge C pierces here and here. At this stage I'm actually going to switch compass, and I'm going to drop in the black pen and on the compass. I'll highlight the portion of the circle that's all solid, i.e. it's visible and it can be seen, and then we have a huge portion of it here at both sides actually that's going to be in hidden detail. So I'll just do my best to add that in hidden. It's not easy actually. And it's coming out relatively well. There's hidden on one side and on the other. That's that one. I should probably just take them up to the elevation. Why not? I have the pierce points for A, B and C left and right, so I'll just take them up to elevation first. I'll continue my projections all the way across for these three guys. But that one is not great, I'm going to rub that out. I'll be more careful putting it in this time. So I've got a projection for C. A, for B. And onto those projections. And again, I've labelled these because I don't want to make a mistake here. I have my projections going up of the pierce points hitting the relevant line. I'm going to grab the black pen again, and what do I see here? What happens? So yeah, this is a little bit harder to figure out maybe, or to visualize, but I do know that A is at the front of the object, so it has to be visible, and I have my pierce points dropped just on A right there, so that should be no problem to drop them in. Am I going to make a mistake here? No, I'll just go to that point. And back out from that point. So they're the two correct pierce points where the edge A hits. What we need to realize this time is that we can't see what's happening behind the center line, behind the center of the cone, because it's wrapped around. So the profile is going to wrap up and around the center, and it'll be hidden detail along the back of this object. So I'm going to need to keep in mind here for edges C and B, whatever passes the center is going to be hidden. So when I'm drawing B in, I'm going to go solid all the way until I hit what appears as the extreme generator or the edge of the object, and then it's going to be hidden from there in. B is here up top, so I'm going to do that now. Solid to the edge, hidden in along, and hidden back out, and solid out. How far does that go? Now it's only small margins there, but that's what we have to do now. C is much the same. Solid as far as the extreme generator. And then where does that go to there? And this guy, C here. Next I am going to, I was going to start heavying in these, but I can't actually, because I'm just going to wait on that. Oh yeah, sorry, I was going to heavy in just the two edges. Now you should be probably using a H pencil, 5H for construction, H for all this finish work at home. I'm using the pen so it comes out nice and clearly on the video. What I'll do now is I'm going to pick some points along the way here. I'm going to pick a couple of points. What will I start with? I'm going to start with A to C. From A down along to C. So this profile, it's going to wrap around in hidden detail under the object from A all the way around to C. I'll just start there. If it's any good, that's going to look something a little bit like this. C goes in and pierces here around the back of the object. And you'll have hidden detail wrapping around and going down to it, and we'll actually have more hidden detail then coming back up to B up here at the top. That wrap, so not sure exactly what it looked like. It's going to be something like that. It has to wrap around. What I do, I'm just going to measure this now. A to C, what is it? 60. There's no way I'm going to take it every 10 mil. Not a chance. That's way too much. What I'll do instead is I might go 15. So 15 there, 30 and 45, roughly. Now that's just gives me nice regular intervals because I don't want to have too much of a distance between them. I think that'll work. I'll take a green and what other colour have I not used? I'll drop in a pink one through the second point. And an orange one through the third point. That gives me point number 1. Something I'm realizing here that these are going to be, there's going to be just a little bit hard to project what I'm after setting up there. That green one is great, that'll be no problem. The orange one won't be a problem. The pink one is going to be more or less useless to me, because I'll start projecting the end of that pink one down. If I try to project the end of the line first, and then I project the point on the line, there's probably about half a millimeter between the projections. It's not going to give me any information, none whatsoever. So that's not really going to work. What I might do instead is, and again, I don't really know if these it's very small margins here. I'm going to move out and go away from the center point left with a pink, change that projection. Again, if this was a pencil now, it would be much better than a fine liner, but I'll put one projection on that point, and I'll move the opposite direction. I'll put in brown, or do I have a dark blue here. And I'll just move off to the right hand side, and I'll put in an extra projection of another element here. So I've just tried to be efficient and just have 3 elements, and now I've ended up with 4. But I think it's going to work out a little bit better. There's point number 1. There's point number 2. We're going to scrap the one in the center, so ignore that. I'm not going to use that one there because it's almost vertical. Element number 3 is this dark blue, and number 4 is the orange one. But that's just taking points all along the way there from A to C. But what it's also doing is it's taking points along the way from A to B. We'll look at that one after. As just a matter of interest here, element number 1 on the way from A to C is probably around there someplace. But that green element will catch us a point on the bottom profile, and as I said, on the top profile. So it'll catch us a point on the way from A to C down here, and on the way from A up to B up here. So at least rest assured that the work you're doing will kind of serve you twice. And of course, needless to say, it does the right side and the left side. We'll take the end of the 4 elements. And all 4 elements can be drawn at both sides if you want. Keep your colour coding. Number 4. Now, I suppose I better keep with my colour scheme, even though it's going to probably affect the accuracy here. We'll go with it anyway. Ideally here, only, you don't want to make a mistake either. Fine liners aren't as accurate as a sharp pencil, but look, we'll go with it. I'm going to just work on the right side only for now. There's the green element line. Right there. Well, I'll just do right and left. There's the green element line. We map it across while I'm at it. Next up is the pink element line, number 2. Here's the dark blue, number 3. And finally, orange number 4. Now, to further confuse you, if I haven't done so already, basically we just need a point on every line. So we have green, pink, blue, and green, pink, dark blue, orange. So green, pink, dark blue, and orange. And there's a point on each one of those lines that belongs to the profile. So I'm going to project the point on each element line down and onto the relevant line. And that will get us a few points on the projection of this wraparound curve underneath. So I'm not going to use colors here now, I'll just project and that's it. And do so as accurately as you can, bearing in mind that it's going to be so hard to keep these accurate, because when an element line and a projection start to get too close, then we're kind of in trouble. It's very hard to keep the accuracy, as I said. I think the best thing to do here is when you do happen to project them and hit onto the line, maybe just grab a pen or something like I'm going to do, take it across, hit the two green lines. I'm going to get my black pen here and just pin the locations of those two, so that I have them straight away. I won't be searching after trying to see what's what. There's the pink points on. The blue points just under here. Finally, the orange. And it's fairly clear to see there now there is something wrong. I'm going to start freehanding. So it's going to go from A to 1, 2, 3, 4, C. So from A to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and to C. And keep it light because this is actually hidden detail. I'm going to completely skip that pink one because it just doesn't look right, does it? And the profile should not look like that. I'm going to go back again now in a minute maybe and just check out my projections here. This is what happens when they are too close to running parallel. The points end up being far too close. When the projection and the element angle doesn't differ by enough, we end up getting an inaccuracy just like that. I think I can see straight away that even in my projection of the point, I probably gave it an extra millimetre that I shouldn't have. And in my projection across here, I did the same. And such a simple little thing. And a little bit of retrofitting like that might not be a bad thing either. But that's from C all the way around, hitting orange, blue, pink, green, and back home there to A. And I need to do the same on this side. So just watch out for those projections. Such a tiny little inaccuracy for me ends up being 3 or 4 millimeters down here. But that's all fixed up now. I'm sketching this and filling it in really light because I know that it's all hidden detail. It's all under the object. So I have it in light. I'm happy with the profile. So I'm going to go over it now. And again, you'll be going over this with a 5H pencil. I'll just go over here with the fine liner so that you can see it clearly. There's one profile, left and right, one of the profiles, and Bad news is we're not there yet. There's two ways of doing this. You can go ahead and draw the elements again in the elevation, or I'm hoping that this works out to be accurate. I'll project point 1 across. I'll project the cut point or the intersection point or at point 2. I'll project point 3 and project point 4. And with all 4 points projected across, and a chance projecting them up from plan as well. I might start with the lowest point down near C, which is the orange one. Project that up onto the first spot. Blue is second. Pink is third. And green is fourth. So that's going from, what is this again? That's A to 1, 2, 3, 4, C. So going from A to 1, 2, 3, 4, and C. Same story over this side. Start down at the bottom. Now I get A to 1, 2, 3, 4, and C. What is that now? That one, this time around, it's going to be heavy from A to 1, 2, and just as far as the bend point where it crosses over the center axis, or where it crosses over the extreme generator. Or if I want to be even more accurate, that is right there. That's like a bend point where it goes around the profile. This side here should actually be reading the same. Where's that one? So it's going to go out, solid, out as far as there, and it bends around in and goes hidden from there coming back in. Same on this side, it goes from A, solid, out to there, and hidden along the back. That pin is here. I'm going to just heavy in a little portion here. It's going to be solid all the way up to that bend point, and the same on this side. There's the first profile, left and right. I'm going to work now between A and B, because I already have a couple of elements drawn in. It's going to help. Thing is, this time that we're getting even closer to those that pink number 2 and blue number 3. They're going to be working out. It's going to be hard to make sure they're definitely accurate this time. We'll give it a go. Let's see how we get on. I'm going to add in one more though, because it's a long distance from A up as far as the green one. So I'll pick one here roughly around the centre. I'll just add in one extra generator there. What should I call this? I'm going to call it 5, even though we'll know afterwards we're not going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're actually going from A to 5 and then on to 1. So one extra generator to drop in there. Happens to line up perfectly there with the base of A. So the points on the ground are here and here. Time to start projecting. Don't forget, I'm working with the top points this time. That's the point on the brown, number 5. That's the point on number 1. On 2. On 3. And on 4. Oh, try and keep watching these now as you project through your views and see how you get on. Dot in your points again straight away. Don't forget this time, where are we going? We're going from A. I've just hit points 5. So A up to 5, A up to 5. Now we're going up to the green one, number 1. I'm going to project, hit and hold, because otherwise it might be, I could lose the points as I look away. There's the 2 top points on the green line. That looks okay, I think. Now it could get interesting because again, like, it's just not accurate this time. We'll see how we get on. Number 2 on the pink is here. Well, that certainly doesn't look accurate anyway. No, but I'll leave it there lightly at the moment. Again, I'd be expecting that this blue one won't be very accurate, so we'll just go and see this dark blue one. Doesn't look too bad actually. The pink one there is wildly off. And what's next? The orange. It's here. Not bad either. Once again, that pink one. I'll just check it once more, just to make sure it's all done okay. There's no slip up along the way. Onto the pink, onto the... Yep, the generator lines look good. The projection. So I'm going to ignore that pink one because I think I've enough points otherwise. Yeah, that's a kind of a very hard one to tell now. Why it's very much in along too far. It should be out here closer. Nevertheless, we'll go with it. What I can do is this. I can just I'm just going to take it now and freehand it in at that. Both of these curves are going to be solid. I have enough points as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points over such a small curve. There's no issue there in terms of accuracy. There'll be plenty of points of that. So it's time to freehand it all in. And the same on this side. The great news is that we've all hard work done for that second curve. We need to project up to the elevation and across. That's not such a great news actually, because again it's just the accuracy on such a small drawing here. We'll see how it goes. There's our brown, the green. I'm ignoring that pink one. I'm taking the blue and the orange, and that gets me from point A hopefully up to point B, which is at the back of the object. Where does it wrap around the profile, turning from solid to hidden? And that's going to be along the center line. I don't even know how the center line is right now. It's there. So along the center line, just here beside the pink profile, that's where we wrap around the object. Okay. I could have projected those 2 points down to plan to get me the exact wrap points on the central profile here as well, but there is no need, absolutely no need. I have my projections now, so there is number 5, and you could number them if you want, if you think it's helpful. There's number 1 is along this guy. There is number 2 was skipped, 3 is here, and I suppose that's 4 up here, My bend point where it goes around also shown. So 5. Four in green, and then we're up to the blue one here. Seems to be just above the bending point and into the orange next. So I get 1, 2, 3, hits the bending point, comes back in to finish. That's that first strap profile. Next, 5, 4, skipping that guy and onto the blue one. Next, and finally onto the orange one. So hits the edge, and we'll just bring them ones in a little bit. Wraps the edge at that point, so it's going to be solid all the way down. And now I am kind of fitting the solution really, because it just needs to be pulled here and there just to make it look a little bit better. That gives me solid edges up top. I wish I could say we were finished, but we're not, because it still needs to go from point B up top down to point A here and here. And what's that look like down here? It's from point B up at the tops down to A down at the bottom. I'm trying to get a projection on this will be a bit of crack. We'll see if it works. I'm going to work with one point in the middle there onto the apex, down. I don't know if this is going to project. I think it should, but I'll just call that number, what have I used, 5. That's projection number 6 there. There's 6 here and here. That should get me 2 more positions. And I'll project the point down onto them. I don't think I'm quite brave enough to try and establish any more points on that profile. So what I'm going to do is just freehand them in. It's, as you'd expect, it's not linear, but it's not a lot off linear anyway. There's the profile down in plan, and in elevation, just bring the points across. And that came across from there, and it hits here, and it hits here. So once again, it's not, as I said, it's not quite straight, it's very close to. Once I've freehanded in roughly, this is all around the back of the object, so I'll just freehand in my hidden detail just like that. Just for a bit of continuity. And there we are. How painful is that? I'm going to pause the video, add a little bit of colour here just to show the difference in the two solids, and then resume. And that is it. A little bit of colour there almost makes it look like a nice question. Certainly isn't the case. A question like this is, I suppose, a little bit unlikely that something exactly like that, or as something that's as hard to work with as that. It's unlikely to come up like that in the leave insert. Now that's not to say you won't encounter some situation where your methods just aren't working, or they're not accurate or reliable enough. And in this case here, there's a real reliability issue with running generators so close in projection to the vertical projection lines, and we just have to kind of go with it and work with it, and I suppose adjust as we see fit. And at the end of it all, once you've that much work done and you've so many generators in and all the points found on them, or on most of them anyway, you're dealing with a pretty good drawing, and you are going to get your marks. There's always, of course, a little tolerance for accuracy. That is the final drawing on the Elements method worksheets. Hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've got through it. Thanks very much.